Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. This is Vinny Borelli. This is Significant Sunday. Hope you had a great week, great weekend. Here in Pittsburgh, we got tons of snow coming in right now, so uh, I'll keep this short and sweet. I know it's a big night here in Pittsburgh for all the sports fans, but tonight I want to talk about something that was inspiring to me today. I went to a different church this morning, and these days on Sundays, it's really significant, meaning more spiritual, not a lot of business talk, not a lot of stuff that has to do with that entrepreneurial goal setting, etc. But so today, I really want to talk about going to a new church, getting inspired by a new pastor, and I want to touch on a couple things here. A lot of this is going to be redundant because it's very similar to what I speak, my values, my traditions, my upbringing. And so today's Significant Sunday really is number one, authentic contributions really is the topic. What are your contributions to your daily life? Are they truly significant? I talk about this all the time. So again, I don't want, for sake of being redundant, I don't want to repeat myself and keep talking about what I always say, but it really is about what do you do daily that's significant? What do you do to make contributions in your life, both spiritually, your business world and all that, yes, okay, but in your family, but spiritually, what do you do daily to be grateful and thankful for, one, being alive, as I say, set the tempo of your day by waking up, being thankful. When your feet hit the floor, saying thank you, God, for giving me this day. But there's some of the subtopics underneath that are number one, when will you reap what you sow? So a lot of people want to sow, but what are you reaping? What do you truly give? What are your contributions to end up being rewarded? The second point is if I told you your date of death, if I said on this day, this is what's going to happen. This is the day you're not going to have a life to live. You're not going to have an extension. You're not going to pass this particular day, whether it's tomorrow, Monday, next Friday. How would you live differently? And this again was inspired by a talk I gave, or excuse me, by the talk that was given, the sermon that was given this morning. Very inspiring. So if I told you what your date of death was, how would you live? Would you live differently? So the third subtopic underneath that is what will your obituary read? Like what will it say? Will it say that you lived this particular life? A lot of people focus on what they, the person that died, what they died from, what pain they went through, what suffering. Be that as it may, you are going to have the final day. Do you want to be remembered by the pain and suffering you went through, or you want to be remembered by leaving a legacy, by leaving something behind that you did significant every day? So, what people prepare for in life is not the daily gratitude, is not the living daily, is not thinking about what their obituary read. Not that that's relevant, but what's relevant is how you live. How do you really want that to look? So, a lot of people prepare to live a good life, but most people I talk to don't really think about it, don't give it a lot of thought. They don't think being significant every day and being authentic is really important. And what I found when I changed my life is that the day I chose to turn my life around and be more significant, be more spiritual, put God first, be genuine, be grateful. Those are the things that really changed my life. And not to hit people at home, but listen to me here, follow me here for a sec. You prepare for vacation in detail, right? Very deliberate on all your details for your vacation. Tonight's the big game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everyone's prepared for the game since this afternoon. Everyone prepares. And again, for sake of being redundant, everyone knows the stats of athletes, the stats of every athlete in the NFL. Or tonight, they know what this game means to the Pittsburgh Steelers, what it means to them, to their family. But, how do you prepare for your day? Do you know the stats of your wife? Do you know the stats of your life? Do you know the stats of where you're going to be when the day comes where you don't have a life to live anymore? So, look here, just try to be authentic, be genuine. And in closing, if you see the bottom here, I don't give the boom, that's on Making Out Monies, but this in closing is rocks. And if the people who don't know what that is, rocks is part of the Traction business book, the business planning. We set rocks quarterly in what we do, in sales, in business, in entrepreneurial schools. We set rocks, they're called. What are those rocks? Maybe 3 a quarter we set. And they're, SMART goals. They're measurable, attainable goals that you could reach. So to leave that out for the business side, what are your rocks in your spiritual life? Do you put God first? Are you thankful? So that's what I want to leave you with. I know it's some of this hits home and it's a little bit high level on the spiritual side, but that's what Significant Sunday is all about. And today I was moved by this sermon, and I wanted to try to inspire some of you to also live that authentic, genuine life and think about what you want to sow, but what are you truly reaping every day? So that being said, God bless you. I hope you have a great Sunday. And tomorrow night, join me at 7 o'clock for Make It Happen Monday. Vinny Borelli. Please look at my website again, vinnyborelli.com. But the announcement I wanted to make is, and I think I made it last week, is I am now an ordained minister. We're starting Your Final Ride business I took over that we'll be doing burial services for the motorcycle aficionado who wants to be buried in a casket but driven off in a motorcycle. So it's called Your Final Ride. You can check out the website. Not everything's updated yet, so can't contact us. We're going to go live in March, but I will be the ordained minister doing the services and transporting the body, etc. So a lot for this Significant Sunday, but thank you for joining me. Again, God bless you. Have a great evening.